Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Two Dudes Reviews. This is Jake here bringing you another unboxing. This time we have the RetroEngine Sigma that was just released through IndieGoGo. I was one of the ones that crowdfunded it. It is a 40 or 50 different classic console emulator slash it could be a Linux PC. There's a whole bunch of stuff that it can do. This is what it comes with. When you initially open it up, you get pretty sure this is a thank you. It's a quick start from Doyoudo, the people who created this. Alright, that's nice. Moving on. Open it up, you get the main console here. I actually really like the style that they went with. It reminds me of, and I think that's kind of what they were going for, the original Sega Genesis. You have a controller port 1, button 1, button 2, clicks. On the left hand, or the right hand side, you have two USB ports. On the back, you have a HDMI and DC port. Nothing on the front. Back, you just got explanations of what you got. They actually have a micro SD port right here. I don't know if you can see it, it's really dark. Let's see if I can get in there on it. Yeah, there you go. You can see it right there. That is for OTG and just standard USB support as well. And there is a micro SD slot right there in the center to load all your ROMs and whatnot on. Alright, moving on. It comes with one DC adapter. So yeah, mine came with a micro SD reader for you to just plug directly into a USB port on your computer to load up all your ROMs and whatnot. And then it also came with a Bluetooth adapter, which is nice. I'm out of shot. Bluetooth adapter, which is nice for whenever I want to connect a Bluetooth controller to the device. I also think I have, came with a 32 gigabyte card somewhere in here, if I could focus on it. 32 gigabyte card, it's just a standard, it actually has a Retro Sigma branding on it, which is kind of cool. And that's kind of it. But I think that once they release a retail box, because like I said, this is just the IndieGoGo crowdsourced box. It just comes with a standard brown box. That you'll get a lot more out of it. At least more manuals. I'm going to fire this up and put in a whole bunch of ROMs and whatnot on it and test it out. And I will finish my review then. But in the meantime, this is my official unboxing for Two Dudes Reviews. As you can see here, I do have the RetroEngine Sigma ready to go, and setup was a little bit tricky. One thing I will say about this out of the box is it's not plug and play by any means, which is kind of a letdown. I mean, that's what the whole point of us doing this. I could build a RetroEngine Sigma. I work in IT. Linux is not that complicated, especially if it's a Raspberry Pi. Throwing shit on that is simple. But this, it should have probably just came out of the box installed. I don't know why they would send a RetroEngine SD card, but not even install the operating system on the SD card for the users. Kind of odd for me, but what can we say? Right now it is installing the Retro Orange Pi operating system, which is free, by the way, which is another letdown. They're not doing anything proprietary. You're paying for the Raspberry Pi that's essentially in the Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive is actually what it is, case for the Retro Pi, and that's essentially it. You're not really getting anything special. Now, again, once it goes straight to retail, we'll see. It might change. It might actually become shipped with the operating system installed, which, if that was the case, you better pay only like $50 for it, because a Raspberry Pi 3, which is the newest one, which I don't believe that they use for this device, but the newest one, which has all the new features on it, it's like $40. Built-in Wi-Fi, everything. Case $10 at max. Granted, you have to do more work, but if you're having to set up this thing just as much as you're going to have to set up a Retro Pi Raspberry Pi, I'd say just do it yourself, especially if you are a techie and you want to set up it yourself. If you know what you're doing, it's not too hard. You just load all the software directly onto the SD card and you just plug it in and there you go. So, while this is installing, I just wanted to give you that thought of WTF, you know. I bought this thing assuming it was going to be plug and play ready to go, or else I would have just bought a RetroPie. So after hours of playing with configuration settings with the Retro Sigma Pi, or Retro Sigma Alpha, I could never get it set up properly. It did boot up. I did finally get it boot up, so it's not. I'm not one of those cases that got frozen. However, I did get booted up, but I could never get any controller or anything to work properly. Even the one that I got from Retro Sigma didn't make any sense. So I just said screw it. I went on to Retro Orange Pi's website and pulled an image from I think it was RetroPie 2E Plus, which is a RetroPie or an actual Raspberry Pi board that has the Wi-Fi built in. It's actually very similar to the board that they're using in the Retro Sigma. And I went ahead and just took that image, put it on the SD card, popped it in the Retro Sigma, booted it up, and bam! It installed itself. Had no problems finding my Bluetooth connection to my controller. Got it all up and working, as you can see here. So I guess really that's all that's left to talk about is what would I rate this, seeing as you have to basically set this up yourself and you're just loading Raspberry Orange Pi or Retro Orange Pi. Then you have to load all the software on it, you have to configure the controllers, you have to load the ROMs on it. It's not worth the hassle of everything. The reason why I wanted to back this is because I like the idea of it coming stock out of the box. You plug and play, ready to go. All you have to do is load your ROMs onto it, but that is not how it came at all. You get it, you have to then boot it up yourself and then install everything and configure all the devices. That's not what I was expecting, and because of that, I'm only going to be able to give it a 2 stars out of 5, 2 out of 5 stars. I wouldn't even give it a 2 out of 5 stars if the price was more close to what a Raspberry Pi was, because then in reality it saves you one step, loading the software onto the SD card. That's it. So, I do not recommend it. This is actually somewhat of a scam because they did not explain what it is. And when I was back in the IndieGoGo, they kept saying it's plug and play, consumer friendly, ready to go. Well, it's not. You have to set it all up yourself. So, I would suggest between the two, go get a Raspberry Pi 3. Support them because their cause is a lot more than these guys' cause. Getting computers to the masses, to the poor, into schools that couldn't afford it. Raspberry Pi, I back 130%. They're a great, great company. So, please go support them and just do that instead of buying this shit. Anyway, thanks for watching.